But it's time to take a look at the headlines on the Nigerian papers right now to see what the stories are across the country. And I have with me in the studio analyst Obani Akinwale, as well as political analyst Dayo Kayode. Gentlemen, good morning. Nice to see you both.
Good morning.
Great. Nice to see you. Great. Right, now let's start from the Nigerian Tribune. Nigerian Tribune is where we begin from this morning. It says schools resume amid COVID-19 spike. Schools resume amid COVID-19 spike. Recall that schools are supposed to resume on the 18th, which is today. All right, from Tribune, let's go to the Daily Times. Daily Times says experts warn against fresh lockdown. Experts warn against fresh lockdown. And that's against the COVID-19. From there, the Leadership newspaper is next now. Leadership says only good governance will heal civil war wounds. The ACF Arewa Consultative Forum is saying this. Only good governance will heal civil war wounds. All right, Blueprint says, the Blueprint newspaper says bandits run riot in Niger, Kaduna, Zamfara. Bandits run riot in Niger, Kaduna, Zamfara, kill Catholic priest, abduct 37 in Niger, and Ikiti to acquire drones, votes 1.4 billion naira for Amotekun, and hit Mutawali's village, slay ward head, 80-year-old woman, 13 others. And that's really a troubling one there on the front page of the Blueprint newspaper. All right, Business AM is next now. Business AM says analysts warn of economy unhinged as inflation bites. Analysts warn of economy unhinged as economy bites. It posts a 3-year high at 15.75% and has other writers there talking about business. All right, from there, let's go to the national economy. National Economy says NLNG paid 144 billion naira dividends to federal government in 2020. NLNG paid 144 billion naira dividends to federal government in 2020. Business Day is next now, and it says how rising food prices stretch cash-strapped Nigerians' wallets. Okay, so Nigerian wallets, wallets owned by Nigerians are really cash-strapped right now. How rising food prices stretch cash-strapped Nigerians' wallets. Okay, that's a Business Day talking about the rising cost of food items. Vanguard is next, and it says 24 killed as bandits cultists go on rampage. 24 killed as bandits cultists go on rampage. 5 policemen killed by bandits in Kaduna. No, it's 4. The police is saying this. All right. Wardhead, 80-year-old woman. Others also killed in Kaduna. These are all troubling headlines there from what's going on the front page of the Vanguard newspaper. The Guardian is next. Guardian newspaper says economic managers in policy trap as inflation climbs higher. Economic managers in policy trap as inflation climbs higher. Key structural issues should be addressed, say economists, and LCCI, that's the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Capital flight at its highest as inflows dry up. Okay, that's the Guardian newspaper. Daily Trust says states squander billions as ruling parties clear local government polls. Kano spends 2.3 billion naira, Rivers 2 billion, Kaduna 1 billion, Plateau 1 billion, Jigawa, Gombe, Ondo, others mum on expenditure. It's a fraud, CSOs say, call for SIES scrap, okay? That's the State Independent Electoral Commissions calling for the scrap of those across the state. That's what the civil society organizations are saying here. All right, from Daily Trust, let's go to the Nation newspaper. Nation says troops battle Islamic State to regain seized military base. 4 riot policemen killed in ambush on the highway. All right, that's the Nation newspaper. Then News Direct is the next one. Postpone school resumption by 3 months. As a rep is saying this. As Edo, Oshun, others announced January 18 resumption date. Recall that Professor Julius Nhovere, who is the chairman of that committee, Basic Education in the House of Reps, said they were not consulted, and they are calling for the postponement of the resumption of school by 3 months. Okay, we were talking about this. certainly as we resume discussion in just a minute. Daily Sun is next now. Daily Sun says, COVID-19, anxiety, fears as schools resume today. Teachers, doctors fault the decision. Okay, COVID-19, anxiety, fears as schools resume today. Teachers, doctors fault decision. Okay, this is still part of the discussion we'll be having. The Punch newspaper is next now, and it says, is on storage facilities. Nigeria may waste 100,000 COVID-19 vaccine doses. Experts are saying this. Don't disregard experts' advice. NMA tells federal government as schools resume. Nigeria may waste 100,000 COVID-19 vaccine doses. The concern is stemming from the storage facilities. All right, gentlemen, let's talk about this issue that is on the front burner. Today, schools are supposed to resume across the country, but we've heard teachers, we've heard different, in fact, the House of Rep, through its committee chairman on basic education, Professor Julius Ihonvbere, has said that schools should not resume. They should be postponed for another 3 months. But I wonder what concerns we have in here. We assume that all stakeholders would have, been brought on board, to decide when school to resume. Obani, let me start with you on this.
Yeah, good morning once again, Mike. It's so unfortunate that in this country, we always have policy somersaults. And it's so unfortunate that we never plan for the rainy day. I think it's a shame on all our ex-military heads and all our civilian administrators in this country for putting us to this shame. In other countries, when the function of statistics is for you to be able to plan your population and plan your development. But in our own case, we're just scoring figures to become the most populated without populated facility or infrastructures. Now, a state like Lagos State has said the students should resume today, the pupils should resume today, and there was also a circular yesterday that says that the calendar that used to be 13 weeks is now going to run for 9 weeks, 61 days for both the second term and the third term. Now, these are my questions that I would love the experts, UNESCO and what have you, is that are teachers in this public and private school tagged as essential workers? Perhaps any one of them catch COVID, God forbid. Is government going to provide 10 million for their cylinders for oxygen? What happened to these pupils? Do we have pediatricians, or do we have cardiologists, or do we have wards or centers where these kids can be attended to in case they catch this COVID? Now, if at the moment, a state like Lagos in their wisdom said level 1 to level 14 officers should stay at home, and they said the same parent that they should stay at home because of spread should send their wards to school, is that not a somersault? Because if you ask me to stay at home as an adult, where I can take care of myself, and you now ask my daughter, my son, to go to the same school, go and bring COVID from school and give me at home. So is that not a conflict? It becomes
a contradiction.
Then you ask again, in other part of the world, is this how schools are being done? In how many schools in Lagos can you maintain social distance in the classroom? Then let's say they want to even go online. In how many states of the country can this online facility available? The NIM people are shutting down SIM card supposedly tomorrow, which is means of internet connectivity to rural communities. Then the House of Representatives is saying, no, let us do this. NMA is saying we need to do what is right. So who is pushing us? What are the parameters that we are going to use to contain this virus? For example, in China, they said they built 5 hospitals in just few days. Just about 4 days. 14 hospitals in 5 days. And there's just a case of 109 new cases in central China. In Nigeria, that we have double the infection between December. It was 75,000 in December. Now in January, it's 130, 150,000. So do we have facilities to contain this person? If Lagos says that they have a bowel facility whereby they generate 60 cylinders of gas per day, and 80 is what's required in the high DH, do we now have more cylinders to be able to cater for those children that will take it home? Is there convenience allowances for these teachers that will go to school? Because I suppose that the teachers in those schools are also from grade level 1 to 14. So if they are also within that range, are we saying it's few teachers that will go? Then again, the other question I want to ask is this. If we say 13 weeks is what we're going to study, now we are going to compress this to 9 weeks. What has changed? Is it the training hour? Is it the quality of training? So are we not trying to even bake unqualified primary school that will go to secondary school that will collapse the system? So there are a lot of questions that the government needs to answer. Then I said again, it's a shame on our past leaders that they put us in this condition. No infrastructure, education, health, no way, transportation, everything is in comatose. Yet they are asking us to send 2-year-old puppy, 3-year-old, 4-year-old to go to school and meet teachers that even in private school their salaries are 15,000 that cannot even buy a regular sanitizer in a month. So it is uncalled for. So a lot of people are asking, is government bound to the prayer of proprietors to be able to oil the engine of the economy? But again, at what cost to the system?
Okay, we'll come back to you on this. Let me bring Dr. Dayo Kayode into this now. The House of Rep is recommending that there should be cleaning crews in schools where you send people there to ensure they have hand sanitizers, they have hand washing equipment and facility where the social distancing is being maintained, and then the nose masks and all of that. Now, if government has to be the one to do all of those as recommended, I wonder how feasible that will be between now and even the 3 months that it is recommending.
Now, you see, we need to put some of these things into proper perspective before we can really understand where do we go from here. Number one, you could see that the chairman of that committee in House of Reps is a bit, I don't want to use the word selfish. Borrow me another word.
Oh, wow.
Aside from selfish. Because how can you be telling the whole nation that because you are not aware,
They should postpone by
then
3
they should
months.
postpone by 3 months? Is that good reasoning? No. It's no good reasoning. That is one. Two, look at the whole questions he reeled out. That means the stakeholders, they are not together. To that extent, some might be coming up with figures that are not there, so as to be able to push their own point of view. All right? So to that extent, where do you put people like you, like me, like him? Because everybody now wants his or her own to overrule the others. So that means you now go to some extent to which you will be able. I mean, we are no more discussing now. They are now arguing. Because when you are arguing, you argue and ensure that your own argument comes over others. But when you are discussing, you discuss based on intellect. Do you understand? Look at the issue of even the vaccine we are talking about. The vaccine they said they are bringing. There's one neuroscientist that came out with that vaccine. Oh, I'm sorry, I don't want to break my jaws because of all these medical terms, you know. This is the vaccine that have been used in curing water blindness. And you know, that person now said, look, it's going to be hard for those people that are taking those drugs in the past to contact COVID-19. Do you understand? Now, coming back to resumption. For me, United Nations, UNESCO, said the other time, I think last week, that look, you can't keep these children at home because they are not the one that brought about COVID. Two, when you are not allowing them to get the normal education they should have, you are denigrating the kind of future that we are supposed to have.
There will be consequences.
Do you understand? UNESCO came out with all those, came out with all those consequences. All right? Now, I want to say, probably, because of that, government is now saying, okay, let us go and resume. And peradventure, that is why it was a bit difficult for some other people to be carried along, because they really want to go along with UNESCO. Now, coming to my own point of view, if you say you are keeping these children at home, they have been home for how long? ASU strike, this and that strike, here and there strike, this public holiday here and there. And even when you're also keeping them at home, where are they? Are they self-isolating in their houses or in the marketplaces? Or some of them do conductor, or some of them even assisting the father to do mechanic in the mechanic workshop. I see some of them coming to my mechanic's workshop. Do you get? So if you are now saying...
So the exposure is the same, whether it is in school or at the mechanic or the shops and all that?
I strongly believe that if they are in school, they could be better monitored. They could be better monitored because in school, you will give the school authority ideals that they should follow, like social distancing. When you come in, you use hand sanitizer.
Dr. Kayode, how easy would it be to have children, hundreds of children, in a school that is fenced to maintain social distancing?
But
how easy is that?
But there's a directive that, look, when you have a facility,
we expect the directive to go out, but we're talking in practical terms.
When you have a facility, that is where monitoring comes in.
Okay.
When you have a facility initially meant for 100 people, the ideal now is use it for less than 100 people.
At
Let's
least
say even
50% capacity, yes.
50%. So to that extent, you can now have morning section, then afternoon section, as it's been done in Lagos State before. I mean, in those days.
Yes.
You can also.
I remember going to afternoon school.
You can do that. All right. You can do that.
Yeah.
Even though I am somebody that strongly believes that all this fear that we are exercising is just because of people are somewhere thinking of. Do you understand? All you need to do.
No, I don't understand.
Some other people will understand what I'm saying. All this COVID thing we are talking about.
Are you saying it's not real?
I'm not saying it's not real, but we don't need to be panicked to the level we are being. Look at the humongous amount of money that is being devoted to this. How much have we devoted in the past to malaria?
Well,
to
the
yellow
administration
fever,
of it is totally a different thing.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
The administration of it and the coordination is
Yes,
totally
but
different.
the administration and coordination, they are using it to affect our lives.
Yeah, but the reality of COVID is very real and out there.
No doubt.
And I believe everyone should have.
No doubt about that.
Sorry. All right, let me bring me into this.
I as much as I agree with him on some point, but I want to disagree based on the Dodger Salam reports at the isolation center in Lagos. I believe those visuals are not doctored, and I believe that they were live visuals from the isolation centers. We saw people rolling out cylinders, we saw the aged one, we saw the young one, we saw the small ones, and what have you. You agree with me that as at the moment, we don't even have capacity to test 100,000 a day.
But
so if we have problem in testing, the number of people that are infected, we will not have the true statistics. But nevertheless, the fact still remains that we do not have facilities to contain the number of infected patients in Nigeria as of today.
Assumed infected. Because like you said,
assume
you have to use assumed infected.
But still,
it is even
the
believed.
private schools in Lagos State, even when Lagos State said they should do 3 to Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 3 to 6, and what have you, did not split their students. And I stand to be corrected that none of the private school in Lagos or even the public school has increased the space of their facility. Then again,
but we understand some have staggered
when the schools have resumed. For most households in Lagos, the number of people that go to private school outnumbers the number of people that go to public school. Now, how easy is for you? A lot of parents like mine keep their words at home. Permanent lock up to cartoons, to YouTube, online sessions, and Zoom, and what have you. But what is going to happen from today on is that you are going to have a pupil of 30 gather in the same class. You are going to have a high number of people using Lagos public transport to go to school. What's going to happen is that the statistics of human relations is going to increase. That woman that sells buns is going to go to the school gate. Is going to sell food, is going to sell rice. And those boys and girls are going to play football. They are going to play Biro game on the table, which means there are a lot of contact.
But the question is, even those children at home, what do they do at home too?
So what I'm saying is this.
As we're keeping them at home,
what I'm saying is this.
I don't know be playing the table soccer.
That's what I'm saying. When they are playing table soccer at home,
hang on.
when I'm saying that when I play table soccer at home, you are limited in terms of spread. Now what we are doing now is that at any point in time, we have said we don't have a garden that is more than 50 in Lagos. Let's assume that we are not even obeying it. What happens from today is that we are going to have in over 2,000 schools, average of 300 people gathering together. That's the cluster. So if there is an NCDC rule that said avoid gathering of over 50, and schools are going to resume today, what we have done is that we have now legalized that we can have a crowd of 1,000. So if you are going to have a crowd of 1,000, then there is no need One minute, sir. 1 minute, sir. There is no need for us to set any lockdown because what you have done is that if those children that are between age 1 and age 14 can gather in 100, in 200, then there is no reason for us to say churches and mosques should not gather because they're adults. That is one. Two. The other thing we need to look at is that if at the moment we say we don't have capacity and the kit to test in Lagos, now you are going to have an average of about 1 million or 2 million people gathering today. Do we have facility to sustain them?
And that's why I said initially.
Then if we say it is rules, the number of people that have died that we have not even accounted for, are they dying and the medical record are not showing it? Even in China that they have vaccine, even the vaccine that they said they have in Norway, a lot of people took that vaccine and they died, and a lot of people are in critical condition. So a country like Nigeria, what are we putting in place to ensure that those kids that you are putting out there, the teachers you are asking to go to school that are going to be exposed to this COVID, how are you going to protect them? Are they going to go along? So if we're saying, because it is life, we are not Mario, and we are not Mario. It is Mario that when you lose one life, you get another extra life or duplicate life. These are human beings. These are people that goes on salary of 20,000, 18,000 that you are asking to go and risk their life. And don't forget that the transport system across Nigeria is terrible. So I'm going to sweat all the bus conductor going to the school, said I've washed my hand, use the same hand to rub my nose, and go to the small children and tell them, oh yeah, bring your biro. Let me help you do this. This is what you need to do. Go to the board.
So there's one contact or the other.
What we're saying now is that the issue of social distancing, mass crowding, it is non-valid because the schools can resume. So clubs can resume. Hospitals can resume. Level 1 to 40 Lagos State should go back to work. Then there is no COVID. That's what we're saying, that there is no COVID. But I stand to say here that there is COVID.
Listen.
COVID is killing. And I will tell you that a lot of people I have had people that we are very close, that in just less than 2 weeks, they lost the oxygen level and they died. I've had colleagues that they have to stay back at home for 1 month, 2 months, that they cannot come to work because they are feeling pain and they are losing their centuries. And these are killing them. So we should not take the risk.
No, the issue is, I have said it initially, we need to put all these things into proper perspective before we know how to address issues.
Yes, sir.
We should stop borrowing ideas of UK, borrowing ideas of America. This is how it's being done there. We know all these things you are saying facts. All these things I've said fact. How now are you saying these children should go and resume while the parents who are civil servants are staying at home? Why are you now saying these children should resume while churches, where you also have crowds, they are also there? To that extent, it will make you and I and a lot of people out there to believe that, look, government don't know what they are doing.
Absolutely
How
don't.
How on earth will a member of House of Reps say because he was not consulted?
The NMA chairman also said it is wrong.
Then should
the NMA chairman also says it is wrong.
So to that extent, NMA chairman too that wants to prove his point might say, okay, let us keep on.
He's not proving his point. They've lost over 50 medical doctors to this virus.
Let us keep on increasing the figure. So all I'm saying is, government, they are further extending the gap of untruth, unbelief between them and we.
Absolutely.
Of distrust.
Absolutely.
So all they need to do is let the stakeholders sit down together, look at some of these issues. What is prevalent in Nigeria? Because we have to look for our internal solution to this problem.
Absolutely.
The way COVID is to them abroad is the way yellow fever, malaria is to us in Nigeria. And the way we treat our own malaria with dogoyaro and all that, you cannot give a young man dogoyaro to drink. It will spit out. Do you understand? And they have looked at their own internal solution to that. Do you get? So we need to look at ourselves. What are the things that are peculiar to Nigeria? What are the things that are peculiar to Africa? Now, look at this, look at this, look at that. We now put them together. Do you get? Develop a concept so that you cannot put it in proper perspective. So that one, there won't be policy somersault. Two, there won't be policy antagonists, whereby medical authority are saying this, the legislature will say this, the judiciary will say that. So all of them should come together, look at all these basic things, put them in proper perspective. Then from there,
sir, do we agree that there's COVID in Nigeria?
There is, but not as.
Do we agree that we don't have enough facilities to take care of if we have any?
Don't we have infrastructural decay in Nigeria?
All right.
So we have infrastructural decay in Nigeria.
All right, gentlemen.
All right, gentlemen.
Let me put both of you on hold now. We'll be coming back to you shortly. My colleague Sharon Jackson is out there somewhere. Okay. All right, Sharon is somewhere to bring us up to speed with resumption today. Sharon, good morning. It's good to have you join me. I understand you've been here and there. Where are you particularly now, so we know where you are and let us know what's going on?
Papua Secondary School here in Ojodu Berger side in Lagos, Nigeria. School has resumed today in Lagos, Nigeria, and in some other states across the Federation, except from Edo and one other state that insists that students would have to resume in February. The turnout here in Lagos is quite low. Perhaps maybe it's because it's the first day of resumption, and maybe because of the COVID-19 pandemic that the world is still faced with. But if you look at what the students go into the classrooms today, you would observe that most of them are not wearing their nose mask yet. Maybe it will take some time for them to get used to it. But we would remember that the Nigerian Medical Association has said they can't stop the government from reopening schools. But every student that would have to go to the classroom has to practice social distancing and also ensure that the COVID-19 guidelines is thoroughly implemented or followed.
All right, Sharon, from where you're standing, we can see some students behind you. We can see the holding of hands and hugging and greeting, and there, it doesn't seem there's anything like social distancing there. But talk to us basically, the school authority itself. Is there any template they put on ground? Is there any measure they put on ground to ensure that students or guidelines by students have to abide by?
Well, before the school resumption, we are aware that many state governments have actually trained and retrained teachers to ensure that they know how to train these children to ensure that they practice social distance and they keep safe amidst resumption. For example, in the Ebonyi State, I'm aware that there are about 2 nurses that would have to be posted to each public and private school to ensure that this guideline is being adhered to. I'm also aware that in Lagos State, the Commissioner for Education is going around schools to look at compliance efforts across the school. But for now, what we can see on ground is not so convincing. The turnout is low, but apart from the turnout, we have most students not wearing their nose mask. And if you find any child wearing the nose mask, is on the chin level. So, of course, a lot of sensitization needs to be done to ensure that the students will resume school remain safe.
All right, we have to leave you here now. Sharon Ijaso, thank you very much for reaching us from grammar school around Ojodu Berger area. Okay, now you heard that.
You can see
and you
yourself.
can even see behind her.
Yeah.
You can see it. They were holding hands, they were
dragging
hugging
themselves.
And you know the most interesting thing I heard from Sharon was that the Commissioner of Education is going to travel
He's going to go around
a landmass of about 3,500 square kilometers in Lagos today. I don't understand what that means. So is the Commissioner now omnipresent or present everywhere so that he can come everywhere? So what we're saying now is that we are playing with time bomb. Because what you have seen here clearly is that the students don't give a damn whether there is COVID or there is no COVID. And these are students that will still
go. Maybe they don't understand.
Either they don't understand. They will still go back home.
About their parents.
They will still go back home.
Yes.
And when they go back home, we are going to buy and sell from these people. And it's obvious now that this is a reflection of our society. The government needs to sit up and be more serious. It shows that if the student of age 10, because what I'm seeing on the screen will be between 10 and 14, and they felt that there is no COVID. We can hug, we can talk. You can see the way they are moving in clusters. So from primary 1, he's talking to primary 4. He's going to go to that place. They're going to do handshake and hug. And yet, all of us are saying school should resume. We should follow UNESCO, and we will do Big Brother. We want to follow WHO.
All right, Sharon said.
And we'll still come be crying and say government do not do what they are supposed to do.
All right, okay. Now Sharon said that in Ebonyi State, for instance. They're sending nurses to all the schools, at least 2 nurses to all the schools.
What is the number of nurses in Ebonyi?
They have enough nurses
in Ebonyi.
That's an effort, isn't it?
But you see, it's an effort. But you see, I don't want us to create unnecessary fears in the minds of Nigerians. Either we like it or not, we experienced the first wave. And we all knew.
Well, and we shut down.
Listen, my brother, even despite shutting down, we knew all that were happening in different localities.
We
in
had
this
75,000
country. All right?
in 6
we
months.
Knew,
in
we
2
knew,
months, we have another 75,000.
We knew what happened even immediately after the lockdown. All right? This second wave, as is, Nigerians, Africans, we have what it takes.
Local immunity.
We have what it takes to
Local
tackle
immunity.
this thing. All we need do
We do not
is for
have
our government,
do not
to come together
Don't-
and
don't-
take
don't
the
have
bull
the
by the
capa-
horn.
we don't have the
And
capacity.
take the bull
Dr.
by the
Kayode,
horn.
Dr. Kayode,
Aside from our
Dr.
government,
Kayode,
aside from our
we do not have
government
the
that are not
capacity.
working
Dr.
enough,
Kayode.
we have it.
We have shortage of medical doctors.
But unfortunately,
Dr.
shortage
Kayode.
of
Medical facilities.
All right, gentlemen. All right,
Shortage
gentlemen.
of spaces.
We are running off
Shortage
now.
of manpower.
Gentlemen,
Shortage of resources.
gentlemen,
lack of information.
Hold the bull by the horn.
Yes.
We will get there.
The
We will, we
bull-
agree.
I mean,
Dr.
it's
Kayode,
not about.
let's not, Dr. Kayode, let's not give false hope to Nigeria.
It's not about false hope.
The point there is-
It's not about false hope.
Yes.
It's about what we have seen.
All right.
It's about what we have
We do not have the
experienced.
capacity.
Yes.
It's about
neither
what is
physical
going on.
Let's leave it here.
material.
It's just
I
that
must
our
thank
government
you.
are not serious.
I must thank you so much.
It's not that our government is
And
not
yes, we're
serious.
exposing these younger ones
Dr.
to.
Dayo Kayode, thank you very much for
Aside
coming
from
on the
vaccine, don't we have
program.
the local herbs that have
And
been
Obani
treated?
Akinwale, thank you so much for coming
NAFDAC
as
is still
well.
waiting for
I must
approval.
thank both of you for coming on the
NAFDAC.
program. And I am very sure that people at home are watching, and especially talking to Sharon Ijason at home, and people are seeing the students at home
Sharon is
hold-
covering his
hold-
news,
holding
but the students
holding
are
each
not
other-
covering.
hold-
They are
holding each other
romancing
and
each
dragging
other.
each other in school.
Laughing.
All we need
Because
do-
we have
all we-
African
Parents-
antidotes.
all we need
Parents-
do-
parents have a lot to do.
lemon,
All right,
Dagaro.
okay,
We
gentlemen,
put
let's
our
round it up
hands
here.
together, we get over it.
All right, you're watching
save our
TVC Breakfast, and we've been having the debate around the paper